Dear Christian in the whole world, and dear American President, and dear European Union. This is Günther Fellinger-Jahn speaking. I'm calling here from Vienna to recognize the Republic of Biafra. Biafra in ex-Nigeria, Nigeria, to my regret, and this is a non-working state, and they have committed genocide in 1967 to 1970 against the Christians of Biafra and the people of Biafra, and now they are all well, since the last 15 years, living in terrible conditions. They are often led for some jihadists to kill them, and there is atrocities about atrocities. And it's much better for the people of Nigeria if Biafra becomes their own state, and they can sort out then inside Nigeria the other issues, or maybe there will be other regions which are better off in this non-working state of Nigeria. So ex-Nigeria must start with Biafra, and the international community, contrary to the 1960s and 70s, must support the independence of Biafra Republic. In the 1967-90, that tragic years, the West was at its weakest. There was the Vietnam War, and tragically Nixon, who was positive for the people of Biafra, but he did very little, and I want to apologize for his failures, and I want to especially criticize and also apologize for the imperial UK and French governments who were actually supporting, due to all interests, Nigerian centralists' crackdown on the poor people of Biafra. And we, as Christians, as Europeans, should absolutely stand with Biafra and support them. And that's why I call on President Trump and on the European leaders, Ursula von der Leyen, please, I beg you, I pray, recognize the Republic of Biafra. There's no need for military intervention or these things. Just do the political steps of recognition of these poor people to have their own state, to live in security, and of course then recognition goes with the ability to be recognized and also to defend yourself. It's much better than having a military intervention in Nigeria, having the Biafra Republic equipped and armed to be able to defend herself against the potential invasion from the Nigerian centralist forces of that failed state. And so here the defense comes with the recognition, and that's exactly how we should do. Biafra Republic, please, my friends, I beg you, recognize it and build a strong, viable state, part of the free world. And that's what I call the Fellinger doctrine and also the Fellinger economics. Build a decent state, part of the free world, no BRICS, but OECD, no kind of alignment with genocidal Russia, but alignment with America, with the European Union, with the free world, and we will have a free trade agreement, open economics, of course the flat tax, I like very much, and the currency, which Nigeria never did, to join the Euro-Pact area. This is the best policy for West Africa, and Biafra will be a proud member of the Euro-Pact area, and this will be delivering much more prosperity in the future, and we will trade and we will work together in the global partnership of Nato, and this is my call for Biafra Republic to be independent and to be part of the free world, alongside Fellinger doctrine and Fellinger economics. And I thank you very much for your attention. Please, President Trump, please, Ursula von der Leyen, be on the side of the light, of the good people of Biafra, of the Christians of Africa, and allow them their own state to live in security and peace and prosperity. Thanks a lot from Vienna. This is Günther Fellinger-Jahn speaking. All the best.
In what appears to be a dramatic turn of events, the liberation of Biafra, the independence of Biafra, is no longer in the realm of fantasy and speculations, as the federal government of Nigeria raises alarm that the indigenous people of Biafra are secretly lobbying for the disintegration of Nigeria. And it appears they are gaining more advantage, and the gravity and, of course, the public sensitization and global awareness is growing on daily basis, as one of the campaigner of NATO expansion have called for the recognition of Biafra by the United States of America and the European Unions, apologizing to the Biafran people. Their failure to do what is needful between the 1967 to 1970 bloody war that took place, and unfortunately regrets that such has not been addressed ever since. And the clamor for the independent state of Biafra is now being championed by the world powers, not even Biafrans. You can see the efforts, the results of the lobbies of the United States. They are doing pretty good. As I've told you some time ago, don't fight the lobbies, because the Mazen Simon understood the importance of engaging the international lobbies so that they can discuss the issues of Biafra in Washington. Engaging the congressmen. The video you just watched now is not an AI generated video. These are real and reality, and the federal government of Nigeria has confirmed it. Raising alarm means there is serious panic and earthquake, pandemonium going on. There is serious unrest going on within the Aso Rock. For them to have raised this alarm, of course, Ogechukwu Nkere, engaging the American lobbies, have done great job, no matter whatever you might feel about his personality. He has remained consistent in this pursuit for the cause of the restoration of Biafra, despite the incarceration of the Prime Minister of Biafran Republic, government in exile, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It is quite clear now and undeniable, because the impact is being felt by these concerns and alarm raised by the federal government of Nigeria with current possible invasion of the United States, arguing that the only way to solve this, to bring a lasting solution, it is not just only through military intervention, but to recognize the sovereign state of Biafra. The same position Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, have expressed over the years, the reason why he is being incarcerated and persecuted under the supervision of the Nigerian government. Now, the same Nigerian government who thought, of course, they have been able to silence the voice of the oppressors, the voice of the press, deprived, calling for self-recognition, self-preservation, and, of course, expression and pursuit of their own happiness and liberty, that the rights of their existence, the inalienable right to self-defense, to the right to life, should be protected, now are now raising the alarm. Of course, you can see that at the front of the screen. It is no longer a news. It's no longer a rumor. It is no longer the weight, the momentum is gathering like an earthquake, like one of the tornadoes, or this hurricane, of course, is blowing across Africa, across Nigeria, and eventually something is about to happen, something historical, something that is very monumental is about to unfold and explode, that will alter the trajectory of the entire struggle for independence of the state of Biafra. It is quite interesting, and now America has their interest to defend. Nato, of course, expansionist agenda is underway. America wouldn't want to take last. NATO is seeking for opportunity to expand, and they have seen this opportunity, of course, the potential opportunity in Biafra independence, regretting their abandonment, their failure, their sabotage, of course, to recognize the people who are fighting for survival. As Ojukwu, who celebrated his birthday recently, a great man, an eternal leader of the Biafran people, of course, said, "We are fighting to defend our lives. We fought to defend our life. But the declaration of war, the war was taken down to the people with intention, of course, to annihilate the people, to silence the voice of the people. But sadly, 50 something years down the line, Nigeria has not even enjoyed peace or freedom, or not even security has been guaranteed. Economic failure, and the rest of them. There has been renewed agitation called not just in the eastern region. The Yorubas, of course, are warming up, of course, to take the destiny in their hands by calling for Yoruba nation. And what then is left with this tempo and escalations, of course, that might bring a lasting end to the long or prolonged quest for freedom and justice to prevail. What is your take? If you're watching us for the first time, kindly like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the notification button. Just take a second and give us a thumbs up. And once we get upload our videos, it definitely will get to you without delay. It's an interesting development, honestly. The federal government raising alarm that IPOB secretly working with a lot of lobbyists, recognizing the importance, the effort of the Biafran Republic government in exile, ably led by Ogechukwu Nkere. It is quite important as the acting prime minister of the Biafran Republic government in exile. Some people dismissed his positions and his, of course, commitment to this quest. But I've maintained, no matter how bad you might think somebody is, because of certain oversight or whatever you might consider not being favorable by your own pattern or thoughts, pattern of thought and the rest of them, of course, do not dismiss the fact that Kere has been confirmed to working for the progress and the emancipation of the Biafran people by the federal government of Nigeria. You see, secretly working with a lot of lobbyists. Ahmad Dabri, Elias Soares, and More, Jim More, and the rest of them. A lot of lobbyists, and they are making a headway, of course, towards the disintegration of Nigeria. And for me, by my own opinion as an analyst, I don't see anything sacrosanct about Nigeria. If 200 million population could be pre-exposed to danger, terrorism, attack, gross violations of fundamental rights, people who no longer have the right to live, to move about freely without fear of being killed, adopted, raped, organ harvesters are having a free day. Terrorism is thriving, expanding their horizon, and of course, consolidating their base in Nigeria, attacking military facilities, military camps, military base, and the rest of them, running over, of course, communities, the villages, and the rest of them, sacking them and reoccupying that. Now, what is sacrosanct about the Nigerian state at the expense of humanity? Now, these are questions everyone must begin to ask. What is that thing about Nigeria that is too important to keep us together, even why it is very clear we do not share the same ideology? We are coming from a different background, lifestyle, and the religious inclinations and affiliations. We don't reason the same way. Some people has the pleasure of killing life, taking lives, feeding children to animals, gathering children, heaping them as a wood, and incinerating them, burning them alive, forcing them into a cage, including men. They derive pleasure in burning, seeing people being burnt alive in the name of Allah, in the name of jihadists. Such does not add up. There is no any basis for being one in the first place. In the first instance, the British Nigeria creation is the British interest. It's just to serve the British economic and political interest, which has not favored any ethnic nationality. Of course, Tafawa Balewa said it. Ahmadu Bello has his reservations. The likes of Awolowo, Zeke, Awolowo, who said Nigeria is a main geographical expression. Zeke also expressed disappointment that Broken Bottle has no patriotism. And Tafawa Balewa expressly affirmed that the amalgamation of Nigeria is the worst and the greatest mistake uh, ever made in the history of humanity, that the regions would have been better off being together. Now, what is sacrosanct about that? That FG is raising alarm. A government that have failed greatly to protect life and property, which happens to be the primary responsibility of governance, any responsible government. Now, what is sacrosanct about people calling, we can no longer live in the life of servanthood, in jeopardy, in the name of living in one Nigeria. We have the right to defend our lives. And if the government could no longer guarantee security of life and property in any part of the world, any part of the country, not even the southeast, let alone the south, northwest, northeast, I mean the Yoruba land, the north central, is worse hit with this growing escalations and expansion of terrorism, of terror cells and groups in Nigeria, that of course has reaffirmed and reenacted the need to reconsider the continued existence of Nigeria on the interest of humanity. Now, this is quite interesting. Uh, but Rubado and many enemies of IPOB claim that they have destroyed and subdued IPOB. So, what secret work is IPOB doing? This is someone's opinion regarding what has transpired. He said the IPOB leadership has shown you that there are many ways to kill a rat. The leadership of IPOB has traveled wide and far without making noise or showcasing them on social media, like others who want to be noticed. They have been positioning the Biafran struggle, okay, on strategic places without boasting on social media to make you feel good or make money from you. Okay, it is quite very interesting. He has said we make a progressive moves. This is our struggle. We are determined and we continue to make moves that will stop Nigeria, and we are waiting for them as they are preparing to invade Biafra land by the first quarter of 2026. Well, that is an allegation that is not confirmed. These are personal opinions expressed. Now, but the truth is that we can no longer live in that denial. Of course, certain moves have been made by different quarters and personalities seeking for justice and the right to self-determination to be protected and upheld as more people continue to push for the independent state of Biafra. This is no longer limited within the Biafran confines. International advocacies, international personalities are now taking the lead and calling for the recognition of the sovereign state of Biafra as the only way to end insurgency in sub-Sahara region. And of course, America is open to such possibilities, and the people will no longer wait to see a long-term dream coming true. Let's have your own take what you think about this development. Are you excited by this, of course, or intrigued by this development? Would you consider it as an impossible task to accomplish? Well, whatever be the case, let's have your own view expressed via the comment section. Thanks once again for watching. Stay tuned for more exciting updates.